Come on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. On this day, this great Friday Eve, we are here to bless you with some sports talk, give you some information, do a little follow-up on the Nico I'm a lava situation, RFK site development, NHL, and a little information about Lee Corso. But this is how we're going to do it. We do it on Friday Eve. And what happens on Friday Eve is people go to work on Friday and they go in the lunchroom and they go get their coffee from the Keurig and they hear people talking. They say, "What you talking about?" And they talking about this show I watched last night. And then the other guy's like, "Yeah, I watched it." And then the dude over at the donuts from yesterday, he come in and holler at him. He like, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying, Midnight Rider and Gentleman Jack. Yeah, I'll be watching them too." And then somebody else comes in, and guess what they say? They say, "You know what? We watched a little show. It was called the Thursday Night Throwdown." Yeah. Gentleman Jack, what's going on, baby?
What's going on, baby? All good here in the hood.
That's what's up, man. So yeah, tonight,
Yes, sir.
as always, Thursday Night Throwdown. We're going to hit a couple topics for you, and then we're going to get out of here. Have a little fun. First, before we really get started, I want to thank our guest last night in the passenger seat. One, Mr. Chris Russell, the Rooster. I know he was filming he was doing a pod before he got on with us, and I know he was under the weather. So I really appreciate him coming through, giving us some time, hanging out with us, and chopping it up for a bit. I know I got to pay him back on getting on his show, but yeah. We got to take care of some business, baby. I see a comment up here. Is that Sam R?
Gotta be. Nah, J-Dub. J-Dub on there talking about, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Jack?"
Let's get him on. Let's give him a little screen. What's up, fellas? And then Matty Ice, it was a great show last night. Yo, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Only thing I was worried about was just him getting to the show. I knew as long as he was on, we were gonna be okay. Because you got three people that like to talk. So go ahead, Jack. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It was a dynamite show, and like I say, you and I both been listening to Chris for years. So to have him on our show really, really felt good, and I think we put out some dynamite content.
Did you make the clips yet?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna start putting them out tonight. I was trying to let the show marinate through the airways before I started lighting them up with some nice clips. So yes, clips have been made. Just need to be set up tonight when I get back in the lab.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm touching stuff. It's all you, baby.
I know. I was getting ready to text you, but what you got? So. The next comment was from Matty Ice, and he stated, "It was a great show last night, guys. Thanks, Matt. We really appreciate it." And then Jack comes through again and says, "Yeah, that fellow seemed like he knew his shit." Well, Jack, he's a columnist for the Washington Commanders, and he is a sports radio talk host on 980 The Team AM dial. So. Yeah, I know you're out of the area now, Jack, so you're not familiar with a lot of the sports folks around here. But Chris is I put Chris a little bit above middle of the pack guy. He's no chump change.
Yeah, it depends on what you're talking about. We talking about straight knowledge. He's a one. Only one that had more than him knowledge wise was Pete. And
right.
So yeah, Pete was an encyclopedia. So
No, it was a great show, and I was as soon as you told me about it, you know me, I was chomping at the bit. I was nervous all day, bothering you at work. But once it came, boy, it was showtime, and a good show I know we put on. It was awesome. And then Jack follows up with saying, yeah, that was a great guest. Thanks, Jack.
All right, so tell me where you want to start this at. You got the banners.
Let's get on up to the big news in the other big news in college football is Lee Corso going to step down from College Game Day, Midnight Rider.
Yeah, his last show is the 30th. It's a little bit of mixed emotions. It's mixed because he's a fixture on the show. You're used to seeing him. You love the headgear bit. It's amazing that and I think it was the Washington State Cougars flag are two bits that have lasted almost 30 plus years of the show. That was crazy. Or it is crazy because Washington State is still keeping this thing going. And but we lose Corso in the headgear. But I think he was coming to the end. I think he lost his fastball. He was giving you a little Levon Hernandez at that point.
No doubt.
Sometime last year. Yeah. It was a little Easter pitch.
He he started deteriorating after the stroke in 2009. And he still kicked it a while. Herb Street was leading him around a lot. I hate to make a crazy comment like this, but it's the only way I can kind of describe it, and it's the way I described it to my wife. Herb Street was kind of leading Corso around like Weekend at Bernie's, man, the last couple years. I love Corso. He turns 90 August 7th, so geez Louise, man. 4 decades in this program. Started College Game Day in 1987, man. I was 1 year out of high school in 87. You was probably still in high school.
I hadn't gotten there yet.
And he'd been working with Herb Street since 96. So they got a long, strong relationship. They really do. I've seen side stories about it. Reese Davis, the newer host, he's only been there since 2015. He's like new guy. Do you know Lee Corso made 430 selections on College Game Day? His record was 286 and 144. I'd bet with him all day.
Oh yeah.
The teams that the colleges that got the most headgear selections from him, number 1 was Ohio State, number 2 was Alabama, number 3 was LSU, number 4 was Florida, and number 5 was the Ducks from Oregon. That list sounds about like what I thought it would. Like you said, he's going to celebrate. They're going to celebrate his legendary career on August 30th. Corso played ball at Florida State. He actually roomed with Burt Reynolds, if people don't know that. He played offense and defense. He held the school record for career interceptions for close to 2 decades. He was one of the most highly recruited players in Florida history at that time because he played both sides of the ball. And he led FSU in interceptions in 1954. He led FSU in rushing in 1955. And then he led FSU in passing in 1956. You don't hear of stuff like that often, Midnight Rider.
Well, no, not at all. What's his nickname? Come on, you know his nickname.
Oh, yes, I do. It's a 2-word nickname. Oh, God. No, you got it handy?
Yeah, Sunshine Scooter.
Sunshine. I knew it was Scooter. I didn't know it was Sunshine. But, yeah, I knew that. He also played baseball at FSU. Wasn't a bad hitter. I think he had a career 398 batting average, and he bat high 300s one year. But I know baseball, you want to be in college, you want to be up in the 350s and stuff. But after he finished college, he was an assistant coach at Florida State, an assistant coach at Maryland, and an assistant coach at Navy. And then he became head coach at Louisville, and he went on to Indiana after that. So there's coach at Indiana right there. Oh, new guy on the controls. There's coach at Indiana, man. He just looks like a man that should be on the sidelines, man. Got a small little pic of him putting some headgear on, as everybody's seen on Saturday mornings for the past 4 decades. And then, Lee Corso as a player, number 20.
I hope they let the headgear segment just go off into the sunset with him.
Yeah.
And I just think they should just do the picks from here on out. I like the celebrity guests they get to come on. But yeah, I think it should stay. That should be a Corso thing. It shouldn't be anybody else jumping involved in anything like that.
Make some new thing up or something. But I tell you, you talking headgear and all that. I thought the coolest thing he ever did was when he came out dressed as a Stanford tree. I thought that was the coolest one, because it wasn't just a headgear or a helmet. It was nuts, man. So the Stanford one is the one I remember the most.
I think him and the Duck really got going for a while. I think that's kind of because I think it was right after the Duck commercial. He donned the headgear and came out with it. But I like a couple times he slipped up. He cussed a couple times on the show, especially the last couple years. And it was hilarious, man. Caught everybody off guard.
Yeah. He's just a heck of a nice guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him 15 years ago, maybe. Okay. And I got presented with this beautiful football from him.
Oh, okay.
And it reads, to Jack, from one avid football fan to another, Lee Corso. So this is one of my balls that I like keep front and center in my glass case. Lee Corso. I met him a couple times, twice actually. Met him at the Cotton Bowl one time, and met him down at Clemson one time.
You want to hit J-Dub's comment?
Yeah, let me see what J-Dub got.
He's at that was at 8-11.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, we already read. Yeah, he's a great guess.
Okay, then the next one is KG.
The big guy comes in and says, awesome show last night, made the whole office proud. Well, that's what I'm trying to do, man. It's all about the network, KG. It takes a village. So I think every show should help every show. And we're just trying to put the best content out we can. Thanks, big guy. And then J-Dub comes in again. He said, wow, I did not hear that. Don't go, Lee Corso. Jackie, he's been around a long time, buddy. And you sat there back when we was youngsters in my parents' basement watching game day with me. So, man, you got a lot of history with game day as well. I'm going to bump down to Matty Ice's Midnight Rider. Matty Ice, I got nervous because I thought he passed. His last game should be Texas and Ohio State. Okay. I can see that, but no, sir. Mr. Corso is still with us. As I said, he turns 90 August 7th. So he's still kicking. And then we got the big guy one more time coming in. Coach Corso Coach Corso is college football on Saturdays. I see that too, man. And I was going to Matty's here. I wanted to see if I can remember some other quirks that he says, but not so fast, my friend, is probably his most famous one. And I've used it on you a couple times, Midnight Rider, and our picks.
Huh? I said, of course. We all use that.
Yeah.
We all drop that.
Who doesn't? I mean, there's people that probably don't even like football that use that. But, yeah, that's a famous phrase from Corso. I got the Island guy checking in, Matt Zader. He just giving me a what's up, cuz, looking good. Thanks for tuning in, Matt. I appreciate it, man. Then we got one more from Jack Wagner. He was great. He will be missed. He had a great TV personality, perfect for what he did. I agree. And he was a football guy. So, yeah, when Lee Corso speaks, E.F. Hutton type shit should happen. You should listen.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, it's sad and it's expected, anytime something you're so used to and you enjoy listening to or doing is taken away, it's emotional. So he had a great career. Is the best way you can sum it up, Midnight Rider.
Oh, for sure. Sure. He was the mainstay. He was part of the foundation. He was part of the cornerstone. He was on there for 30 plus years. He is college game day, as KG said. And everything else is built off of him. He's the bark or the bark of the tree, and everybody else is just the limbs. They've come off and then he's grown that into a must see, must watch show for me every Saturday morning. I literally come in, take my I used to pick up my kid, get him settled, and I'm right there in front of the TV watching game day, or game day is on while I'm doing stuff around the house. So I can only imagine what it is like for everybody else. It's part of your Saturday. Like, you might watch that and then not watch a single game the rest of the day.
No doubt, no doubt. I used to record it sometime because you get too busy running around in the morning, and I'd watch it later that night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, game day definitely a part of a lot of people's Saturdays. It's a show that just gets you ready for the slate of football that's coming your way. And I thought, the whole team, the whole college game day team, but Corso especially has been doing it for years, getting us ready for Saturday football.
And it's their approach that makes it work. It looks like they're having a good time. Looks like they're having fun. And then they break down or give you information on a lot of ball games on the slate. So it's crazy, man. Oh,
well,
yeah,
we got a comment from Matty Ice. I think it's perfect timing to add it in. Matty Ice says, maybe Fox will offer Lee Corso more NIL money to come back. Don't put it past nobody the way NIL's working now, buddy.
Heck no.
All right.
Hey, Jack, I got something going. Can you give me like a minute?
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, man. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, I'm gonna just talk a little bit about Nico over at formerly the quarterback of Tennessee. His last name is hard for some people to pronounce, but I done figured out what I'm gonna make it say. His name is Nico Imaliva, Tennessee. Nico Imaliva, Tennessee. So Tennessee, he was slated to make 2.2 mil, and he was looking at comps from other quarterbacks that jumped ship. The boy from Georgia went to Where'd he go, man? He went to Florida State. I'm not sure. One of the quarterbacks jumped, and he's getting like $4 million. So now Nico wants 4. Where'd that boy from Georgia jump to?
Carson Beck jumped to Miami.
I knew it was a Florida school.
Yeah.
So, did you hear the name I made up for Nico?
Yeah, I heard that for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave at Tennessee. So it seems like now he's got something lined up with UCLA, and I think I heard he's going to take a pay cut. He's not going to get what he initially asked for or what he was making.
Yeah, he's supposed to. I think supposedly it's like 900,000, and I was worried about that. It just didn't make any sense.
I thought I heard 1.4.
It's been
between, maybe that's with incentives.
It's been between 900 and 1.4.
Okay. But he's going to a 5-7 UCLA team that just jumped to the Big Ten, and they took a lump in the conference there. I don't think they won but 3 games in conference, if that. So I don't know. I look forward to seeing what happens with Nico and wish him the best of luck. But greed is the root of all evil, man. So these boys out there chasing that dollar. And the dollars are big nowadays. So,
hey, folks in the comments, give us your thoughts on this Nico situation. Let us run through that. Give us anything, all thoughts. and let's just talk about it. Let's have a conversation.
I'm not sure what Matty Ice. Did we call somebody else Matty Ice? Matty Ice gives me a comment, thought I was Matty Ice, laugh out loud. And then Matty says, bottom line, all of this is so broken with no rules to govern any of this. It is just honestly getting stupid. Agree, agree, agree. I've been saying since day one, say one, that this needs to be governed. It needs a commissioner. Now they already got general managers in place. And shoot, the college ball players got agents handling their affairs. So it's not even, it's professional football is what it is. So I don't think they're going to fix it in a blink, but I hope they fix it quicker rather than later. And when J Dub comes in, I'm not a fan of NIL. Everybody had to know this was coming. Jack, I didn't know this was coming because I thought NIL might get into the hundreds of thousands. I didn't think NIL would get into $5, $6, $7 million. I never thought that would happen. I thought somebody might be able to bring in a cool 6 figures, nothing wrong with that. But they're making a lot of money, man, a lot of money. And as I think Ben said the other day, they're young too. You're looking at an 18, 19, 20-year-old guy getting handed millions, buying Lamborghinis, buying Benzos. I mean, they're just living outside, not outside their means now, but outside of normal means at a young age. So I don't know. They need financial advisors because, like we said the other day too, are they paying taxes on this money? Somebody get all hemped up 2-3 years later and can't play because they're going to jail for tax evasion. Do these people got the right people showing them how to handle this kind of money? So there's a lot of questions still to be figured out about NIL, and NCAA's got their hands full. And Jack comes back with me. He says, I agree, but there's nothing wrong with them making money. But you have to draw the line somewhere. They're still only college players. I agree, Jack. I do. And I'm cool with them getting money. But like I said, never thought it would be 7 figures. Never. And then we'll get Matt's, and then I think we're going to go to the next topic. Matt says, I'm okay with NIL. They should be getting paid, but there has to be rules. You sign an NIL, you are there for every game that year. Yeah, I mean, like I say, they got 4 months to decide to leave. And then I think we had one cat leave, get with another school, work out, then leave again before that school even played it down. I don't have the guy's name, but that just happened recently. So we're going to have a lot of this. And I'm surprised we don't have more right now jumping out on NIL deals or contracts or whatever it is. They got to have a contract, and I think it should be a 2-year deal. Now, if you don't like things after 2 years, bounce. But you can't do that 1 year. Oh, man, Shorty offered me $6 million. I'm going over there. What are these programs going to be, man? It's just going to be like going to the casino and throwing the dice. I don't like it, man.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, please. I went a little overboard on that, but that's how I feel about it.
No, because you said something, and you said make it a 2-year deal. Well, scholarships aren't 4-year contracts. Your scholarship is a 1-year renewable scholarship. So a school, if they want to, or if they have too big of a recruiting class, can kick you out or not renew your scholarship because they got to make room for somebody. So that's the part where I don't like the 2-year. I think these kids should be able to move however they want. If the coaches can do it, they should be able to do it. Because
go ahead.
No, because nobody's holding all the coaches like Willard and those guys. Nobody's holding their feet to the fire, saying, "Oh, you can't do this. You shouldn't do this." Only thing they talked about is the way he did it. But they didn't mention him going somewhere and getting something else. Or the same thing with the guy that went from Colorado State, he went somewhere and got a gig. Like all these coaches use their platform to get a gig. Why can't the players do the same thing? And that's the only thing. Like I feel like with this, and I think some of us you didn't see all the money. There was money being transpired and changing hands. I mean, the infamous story of Chris Mills in the Kentucky office in the athletic office, and the wad of cash coming in an envelope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel you. I mean, I think it's one of those things where the kids that really suffer from the NIL, truthfully, are the kids that come straight out of high school, the freshmen and the sophomores. Because like we talked to, I think it was Coach Powell we were talking to, and we were talking about how the kids now are getting only recruited by the lower level schools. You know, you're not getting Clemson and Duke per se coming through your doors unless it's a phenom. If it's not a phenom, you know, you got Western Kentucky coming to see you. You got Liberty coming to see you. And I think that's the byproduct. I think that's the place where we got to find the fix if we can find the fix. Looks like Matt has an idea. He says transfer portal shouldn't open until after all games and limit kids to 2 transfers unless their position or head coaches leave. That's interesting, but I think that's gonna be hard to litigate. I think they've let this. I think the problem is they've let the water out of the dam too much that you can't put the water back in. You know what I'm saying? You can't redirect the water back around and start all over again. I think that's the problem. We got too far down the hill. Like I saw today, this kid, one of the best names. I think his name is the coldest. I can't think of his last name. He's a wide receiver that started at Nebraska. I think he's just transferred to his 3rd school in 4 years. You know, what are these kids getting from this? You know, they're not getting education. They're just getting money. That's all it is. That's all they're getting.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Jack says it's ruining
that's
the bowl
another thing, man.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. A lot of the guys aren't playing in the bowl games, but what were you just talking about, man?
No, you good, baby.
Your last comment.
My last thing was just like you can't, you know, the kid, the coldest, I think his name is Dakota's Forest or something like that. He transferred 3 times in 4 years. Like, what kind of education is he getting? Because you know you lose credit every time you transfer. So like, what these guys after 5 years ending up with? Because you're not getting a degree.
Right, exactly. That's what I was getting at when I lost my train of thought. These guys can't be doing the proper schoolwork, jumping around like this. There's no way possible.
Right.
And I mean, having an athlete that's, say, getting assistance,
right,
or whatever you want to call from the educational standpoint, it's always been said that athletes get, you know, help with that or don't have to do that. But there's no way they can be doing the minimum they need to do by jumping around schools and going out selling themselves too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like an NFL free agent. You got to sell yourself to this college team. Probably work out for them, send them film, whatever. So
did you see Syracuse? Syracuse has a wide receiver that went into the coach and asked him for $2 million. Coach came out and just said, "I'm not giving him $2 million to play wide receiver." And you know, one of the guys in the comments was, "Well, you might not, but somebody in the SEC or the Big Ten will." So, I mean, this problem is going to spread first before it gets better. So you might as well go ahead and buckle your seatbelt up and just get ready for the stories, because we're going to have stories of kids struggling with and being broke. Like I think I said it a couple nights ago, we're going to have 30 for 30s about money or something on Netflix. And it's going to talk about the NIL and how kids lost money or wasted money because they bought the chain, they didn't pay taxes, all this stuff. It's going to, like, we're going to have a wild reality in like 2 or 3 years where some of this starts to start coming out. You know, And that's the sad part.
Yeah,
There's nothing, there's no structure in place to save them from themselves.
Well, there's some of these kids you see. I mean, and I'm not saying Cooper Flag because he's from Duke, but you see Cooper's Flag very involved at all his games, sometimes near his interviews. But you got some ball players that ain't got family like that. They don't have, the type bond. They might, be the breadwinner of their family. Some of these boys don't have fathers to tell them things. It can get ugly quick when you come from nothing and get handed millions.
Well, let's go back to the person that started this off, Nico. Nico's partially in this situation because I guess his father wasn't happy because other people got money, but they signed a deal for I think they had a 3-year agreement that was going to pay him somewhere near $8 million or $7 million while he was at Tennessee. Instead, he got greedy, and it wasn't enough. And then also there's talks that the $4 million that supposedly Carson Beck got isn't exactly $4 million. And I also think part of this, I said it in the comments on the 24/7 page, I think some of this is collusion. I think when he decided to transfer and leave Tennessee, I think some of the other schools bonded together and made sure that he wasn't going to profit off of it to make him a lesson.
Mm-hmm. Well, if Nico goes with UCLA, he'll be closer to home, so he can have his dad helping him out all he wants, I guess.
Yeah. It sounded like his dad wanted, I don't know. I saw reports that the dad wanted more money.
Greed.
He was kind of the person behind asking for more money.
It's greed, man. It's just greed. Yeah, I think he was slated to make just under 7.
Yeah.
For 4 years.
It was junior year.
For 3 years, I mean, yes. Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, I like the kid, but is he really an impact player? Is he going to be a guy that's going to, turn UCLA? Because UCLA got some struggles. That O-line wasn't good. They lost 2 receivers and a running back. So it's going to be interesting.
It is. I was watching some tape on Nico today. He's small, man. He's skinny. He's not that big of a guy. And like I said, UCLA coming off a sub 500 season. Mm-hmm. What else are they spending money on to if they get this quarterback? They need to spend money elsewhere because it seems like they don't have much going on with that horrific record they had last year in a strong Big Ten.
Heck yeah. I totally agree with you, man.
Yeah, man.
Before we move off of this, let's hit up Jack and Matt to close out.
Okay. Well, Jack comes in. It's ruining the bowl games. Guys are in the transfer portal before they get to the bowl games. I already had that. My bad. This one here, Jack. Yes, I agree completely, but they're teaching these young players it's about how much money you can get and not how strong you can build your team because you stay together for more than 1 year. Yeah, continuity is kind of out the door now. It is a got to get mine type of thing nowadays. Everybody just trying to grab a bag, Jack. So, and like Maddie says, just like I said, show me the money. Where's the bag? That's all they want now. And yeah, it's good. Because some of these guys, this can be future money, not just right now money. If they use it wisely, it can just take care of them forever. But I'm not sure a lot of these young kids are going to do that. Like I say, I already know that one young boy last year was having a hard time at practice. Coach couldn't figure it out. What's wrong? And next thing you know, his Lamborghini gets delivered to the practice field parking lot, man. No wonder he couldn't concentrate at practice. He's getting a $250,000 car delivered to him. So
I really wish there was like a contingency of the agents, willing to either allow kids to come aboard or them being able to sign with them to kind of help them with the money aspect of this. And I know all agents aren't good, but some of them got to be better than having your mom who is counting on you to run the household. I think some guidance is better than no guidance.
I agree.
I think that's another part of it too. I think the schools might need to start investing in something like that, where instead of that Econ 103, maybe that Econ class becomes like life lessons or lifestyle, Because you ain't gotta learn the hypotenuse of a triangle. I ain't used that since I had algebra 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta start giving these people. I think that's the problem with education right now. It's not translatable and transferable to the real life. You learn a whole bunch of stuff about nothing, and you ain't never had to ask nobody or tell nobody about Columbus selling the ocean blue in 1492. So, but I mean, it's that. You don't get an extra bonus at work for knowing that. You drop your boss ain't come to you and tell you I got another 250 for you if you can shout out Pythagorean theorem or whatever it is. So I don't know, man. I'm in my bag. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what it is, man. I don't know.
Yeah, Maddie's there with us. Honestly, that should be a high school class. I think something has to happen. We got to start saving these kids from these kids, because the NCAA has shown us that they're not going to do it, because they know the second they get sued, their lawyers are so bad they'll lose whatever case they got put against them. So that's probably why they haven't tried to fight it yet.
Well, yeah, and the NCAA they want less to do with something that's possibility of somebody doing the wrong thing with it. Why do they want to lynch you onto that? So
Right.
I don't think they'll reach out to make any kind of assistance to help these kids through these kind of periods or anything, because then they're linked to it, and then that's when like you say, kids can start suing. So I don't know. I think NCAA is gonna keep arm's distance and try to make something without getting too wrapped up into the players.
It's gonna be interesting, man.
If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
So I don't see them, picking everybody up.
Mm-mm.
So what's up with this? NHL playoffs coming up, Midnight Rider.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll read this one for you. Get one from Matty Ice that says, NCAA or Rob Manfred? Who does Midnight Rider hate more? I think Manfred.
I think it's NCAA.
Oh, really?
I think you get me on the wrong day. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we was about to hit a wormhole there, Jack. That's why I pulled back.
You and your wormholes.
Yeah, buddy. Where you want to go next?
NHL playoffs.
All right.
Playoffs.
You got that graphic?
Sir, I do. Playoffs.
Oh, that fits perfect. We ain't even playing that.
There we are. Yeah, that's why I cut it like that. There we are. That's the bracket for the NHL playoffs are complete. Came down to the last day and came down to some of the last games, as I saw.
Yeah. So last night I think was the Canadians. They clinched their spot. And then some of the seedings played out, but most of this was set.
Some of the endings.
But I mean, you got the Kings and Edmonton. Oh, that works out better, because I thought the Kings were playing somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Maddie, just type a note in. Is this the one, Kings and Edmonton, that played like 3 or 4 years in a row? Or am I thinking about somebody else? Just hit me with a comment, because I'm curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't yet, on the Sideline Junkies ESPN page, Fantasy Games page, well, it's not a page, it's ESPN Fantasy Games, NHL Pick'em. We have a Stanley Cup Playoff Pick'em League. The league is called, or the group is called Sideline Junkies. And this time the password is Ovechkin. So it's capital O, Ovechkin. So you just hop in. It's free. You get 2 entries. And we just doing it for bragging rights, having a little fun. Just trying to make it a little competition. I don't want to call hockey playoffs random. I want to say it's the most unique playoffs that you can find in sports, because even though it's 7 games, normally 7 games finds its way back to the mean. But in this case, in hockey, I believe that sometimes that thing that's going off or veering off from the norm can hold for a while. So you like, was it when the Capitals played the Canadians a couple years ago? Their goalie still didn't say it for the whole series. You know what I'm saying? That got them through. So I think it's stuff like that that can change the dynamics of a series and change just the way this whole thing plays out.
Definitely.
You know, you can go from having a 1 to having the 8 advancing, and then now it's 8 versus 3 or whatever the scenario is, and that's crazy. Jack, I'm gonna tap these comments real quick so I can catch us up, and then we can go on and finish this up, this little hockey thing. Of course, Ms. V says good info. Sam Mar says, "Oh snap! I forgot about tonight's show. Life's been busy, hectic, but I'm here now. Hey, that's the whole key, man. As long as you come in for a little bit, you ain't gotta be here for the whole time, just for a little while." Matty Ice says, "Yes, 4th in a row. Tampa, Florida, 4th in 5 years. That's crazy. That is crazy." And then Sam R says Avalanche or Montreal to win the cup. No real reason why I picked them. No real reason needed for destiny. It just happens. Okay. Can't argue with you there.
I don't see that happening.
I think it's the most unpredictable series. I think it's this, and then it's the NCAAs. I think you can come out of those with two winners that you weren't expecting. And then sometimes you get chalk.
Montreal limped into the playoffs, and they're gonna probably get swept by the Capitals, in my opinion. I don't see Montreal doing shit. Avalanche, maybe.
Well, the only thing about Montreal is they've been playing competitive games lately. Cap's kind of been trying to get Ovi over the hump, and you know they've been trying to rest players. So this comes one of the situations where you start talking about, you know, the team that had to fight to get in. Maybe they can have a little thing called momentum on their side, and they'll take care of that for you. So yeah. And then Maddie chimes in. Monday drive time. Going to be a busy show. Heck yeah, you got a mock, and you got the first NHL breakdown. Yes, sir. And Maddie gives Sam R a little credence, saying Colorado's a good pick.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like I said, I think this is, again, I mean, part of the other reason why I did this is I wanted to see what we were going to end up with as who people were going to think the winners were. Because I don't feel like we're going to end up with a consensus in the group. You know, we have varying levels of hockey knowledge in the group. So, you know, some of that's going to be somebody reading, doing some research, figuring it out. And then some of it's going to be somebody like Maddie that knows it's like the back of his hand, or his buddy. I think his buddy was Dylan from Monday's show. He put on a nice show. So I don't remember if it was hockey or basketball. I think his thing was basketball. He had a lot of upsets in his basketball picks. But what else? If you got anything else on this, Jack, or do you want to get to the RFK thing?
Well, with you know, the talk of Colorado Avalanche, you know, being picked by a couple people saying it could be a good pick. They are playing a Dallas Stars team who's been skid row recently. I mean, they got a 7-game losing streak into the playoffs, I believe. So they might be right on that one. Maybe the Stars might be on the way down, Avalanche on the way up. But yeah, the Stars have had a tough time these past couple weeks. So it's going to be exciting because, like I say, everybody knows I'm not an avid hockey fan, but I've been saying ever since I was a youngster, there's no hockey like playoff hockey. So I do watch playoff hockey, and I'm looking forward to a good one. I picked the Caps to do it this year. I want to see them put another trophy in DC.
That'd be nice, man.
It would. It really would.
Nice. Yeah. And then Matty jumps in again, says you could literally have 10 of the 16 teams. You can make an argument to win it all. And this looks like a new face. JC, holla at me.
That's how we say it, man. JC, holla at me. That's my boy Swift Jab. If you don't know Swift Jab, he was Golden Gloves back in the day, but he got on the smack and he had to put the gloves up.
Mm.
That's a false story, but it's one we told in Myrtle Beach that we'll never forget. Right, Rob? That's my best guy, Rob. He's best man in my wedding. Thanks for tuning in, Rob. Finally.
Oh, man. I'm sitting here like, damn. Oh, shoot. All right. I know why you told the story, though.
Yeah, that's my guy. Well, now we was down there in Myrtle Beach, and we had this dude, this older black gentleman, talking to us while we're getting cranked at the pool, and my boy was over there goofing around with some shadow boxing, and the guy says, who's that?" I said, "Oh man, that's my boy Swift Jab." He's like, "Who's that?" I said, "You ain't never heard of Swift Jab, 2-time Golden Gloves?" And this guy got all amped up. He was bringing people from all over the hotel to meet Rob and shit. It was funny. So we stuck with that one. Swift Jab, Golden Gloves. Oh yeah, J-Rock too. Stop, Rob. I'll be talking about you the whole show. All right, I'll do it the way he did it, Rob. They just be calling me that sometimes. Oh, that's a story I'll tell you later, man. You guys stop, man. So, yeah. Thanks, Rob Randall. Jack, say what's up to Rob. Let's handle it. Where we at now, man? We done with our...
Yeah, we're done with our bracket, man, because we're not gonna pick it out. We just wanted to show it to everybody, see what's good.
Mm-hmm.
We saved the rest of that. We saved the commentary, the deep down, breaking it down to Matty Ice and Drive Time, 5 to 6 on Mondays. He's also got a mock draft. So if you're interested in making a pick for your team and they haven't been selected, I think they're up to 14 or 15. I know he asked me to do San Fran's pick because nobody picked for San Fran.
He's got 7 or 8 left. 7 or 8 are still open, but we will assign them to somebody if we don't find a fan to pick.
Yeah, I don't know what's the next one up. Just let me know, Maddie. I'll see what I can do. And if you need like a commentary, I'll drop like a breakdown in the WhatsApp for the players I picked.
And Midnight Rider, as far as the best matchups, the best series I think are going to be in this first round, I think it's going to be the Tampa Bay Florida matchup, and I think it's going to be the Kings Oilers matchup. I think those two are going to be the best series in the first round. Maybe look for some game 7s.
I think there's going to be 3 or 4. I like the 2 you picked. I don't know what the other 2 are going to be. The Wild and Golden Knights are always interesting because I think the Golden Knights have one of the most unique home court or home ice advantages. Just the way their playing style, they play their boards in a very fancy, unique way, but they play their boards in a way that helps them out and helps get them offense, get the offense going. So that's going to be interesting in that regard. For sure.
Agree.
For sure. We got one more. Hit that last Maddie one, and then let's get to what's next.
Got another one. Matthew Kaline states, India and Atlanta were next with no picks. Oh, okay. That's who he's got next on his mock draft, Indianapolis and Atlanta. We got nobody to pick them. If anybody's interested, reach out to one of us, and we'll put you in touch with Matty to get in on our mock draft. The next one from Matty Ice is Toronto and Ottawa is going to be crazy fun. Those fan bases dislike each other. So, all right, I'll keep my eye on that one, Matt. Catch a game in Winnipeg with the whiteout. Whole crowd wears white. Yeah, I've been to Penn State like that, and it was my first whiteout, and I didn't realize how amazing it is until you're in the middle of it, man. On TV doesn't do it justice like sitting in a stadium or an arena full of whiteout. That's so crazy. I love it. Yeah.
You hit a couple things, and I don't know which one I want to touch. The question I guess I want to ask, and Maddie, just drop a yes or no for me. Do they play the national anthems this early, and do we get an "Oh Say Can You Sing" ranking on the Star Spangled Banner or the "Oh Canada's" that'll be sung during this thing.
What are you talking about? They sing the national anthem before every game.
Right, but they don't always show it on TV.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah. So if they show it on TV, then we get a Maddie rating.
You're right.
Yeah, that's why.
You're right.
I saw the face. I was like, oh, yeah, that's all it was.
I got you, brother.
Nah, it's all good, baby.
Let's move on to the RFK updates and developmental news.
I'm gonna let you lead off because I want to know what you know and what you got going off of this. Because I've been listening to this all day.
I know. That's why I put it to you, because I know you the guy that knows all about this DC stuff and what's going on. I just heard, about more stuff than what I knew last time we spoke on this topic, that they're going to be including homes and shops and everything around the area, new road infrastructure, and exits in and out of the stadium. So they got a lot of work to do. This ain't gonna be ready till 2030, maybe. If
that's their plan, that's the target date is 2030,
and it's gonna raise the price of the going to the game experience. You don't build so many billion-dollar stadiums and then just keep prices what they were. That's not gonna happen because they're new owners. They're gonna want to recoup some of their dough. It's going to be an expensive experience. I've heard people say that about SoFi in California. That is pretty pricey. A lot of the newer stadiums are like that, but I'm looking forward to us having a stadium with a dome, with a roof. To if this is 2030 when that's done, can we get a Super Bowl here by 2035?
Possibly.
I mean, I'll be old as shit by then, but
I think there's a couple components that intrigue me about this whole thing, because first is the split. The split is, I think the Commanders are paying somewhere between 2.3, 2.5 billion, which is basically the lion's share of this.
Mm-hmm.
And Washington, the city's only putting up just basically the infrastructure part of this. So it makes me question how much of the stadium are the Commanders going to own. And when I say the stadium, I mean the stadium and some of the housing that gets built out of it, like, or some of the restaurants and leasing other things. How much of that is going to fall into their pockets? And with the city just basically kind of getting the streets, like, I think that's question one for me. How does this break down? Because I can see paying 2.5 if I have the control of, or I'm getting the rent from the restaurants that come in and operate out of my building space. You know what I'm saying? If I get a little bit from some of the housing, 2.5 is nothing. Because if you think about it, you pay 6 for this team. You get 2.5. The stadium's 2.5, 3 billion. So what if you go to sell this team in 2035, 2040 maybe, because people have died off or whatever. I don't want to speak any ill will, but time happens. And they go to sell this, you're looking at a price tag maybe at 12, 13 billion now, where you've doubled your money, not counting what you make every year off of this thing. I think this is a very smart investment by this group. And I think somebody gets help because Josh didn't have to put some of that money into that basketball stadium.
Well, Minarada, let me dip down here to Rob Randall's comment, and I want you to answer it for me, please. Rob says RFK/DC got their money now from the owners for the DC government. Neighborhood doesn't want it. What's up with that, Minarada? The neighborhood is a little shook, aren't they?
The neighborhood has already tried to introduce 2 petitions into. Basically, the first thing is they're trying to get that area rezoned, that it can only be for housing and residential and businesses. It can't be for a stadium. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things they're trying to get on to whatever the next ballot is for DC and get that voted into space. The problem I think that the residents want to have is the NFL commissioner and Josh Harris, who's got very strong ties in this area, and Mitchell Rays, I think they can get some things that help them. When I mean things that help them, meaning they can bring some things into the neighborhood in terms of grocery stores, because now you don't have the Harris Teeter in that area anymore. So they may have to go further to get groceries than they did before. I think there's just some small infrastructure things that maybe they can change or help out and get the people some things that they want. And I think people will. I think the problem is the people don't really run this, because this is a locomotive going downhill. I think this is something the league wants. I think this is something Congress wants. I think this is a situation where you can get DC back into football, and those Monday night games with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, you got the White House in the background. Like, you're not filming the White House 2 days earlier. You know what I'm saying? You can pan and see it and show it. Depending on how the skylines look, you can look down from the Capitol. Depending on all that stuff. There's so much of the nuances that can make this real nice. Robert Randall said parking. I mean, parking is going to be an issue because most of it is going to be high rises. I mean, not high rises, but it's going to be garage. It's going to be garage parking.
No tailgating. Tailgating is going to be limited. I'm sorry. Tailgating is going to be limited.
But let's think about this. They're 5 years out, and we're not talking about Daniel Snyder building this. We're talking about businessmen building this. The way you can do this, if anybody's been to Audi Field has food trucks as you walk up.
Oh, damn.
So maybe you get a food truck experience as opposed to you and your buddies, grilling whatever. If it's and Rob, you're right on another thing with the river. I think the river's going to get incorporated in this somehow, some way. I think we're going to have ferries, bringing people from other parts of the city, bringing people from, like, the waterfront. I think you're gonna have a party ferry if they play this thing out right. Really? And you get to party and have fun. You park your car at, say, like the National Harbor, and you ride this ferry over to Southeast. Get off the ferry, go watch the game. Boom. That's a dynamite experience you never had before.
Okay.
I think the question is going to be, I think the pricing is going to be one. That's going to be a struggle.
No doubt.
Because, I mean, look at the prices of stuff now. And let's imagine 10 years from now. I mean, 10 years before this, you was paying like $6 for, a value meal. Now you're paying damn near $10 for a value meal, if not 11.
Shit.
Oh. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you talking about a value meal? What, McDonald's?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking to get a little hookup value meal at the stadium cost you $25.
Oh, that's gonna cost you $30. Yeah. I mean, it's things in this. There's layers in it. The problem I have is the DC council's involved. I never trust them. But the funny thing is, Mendelson's always the one putting up the biggest fight. But he tried to fight Nats Park. We got Nats Park. Tried to fight Cap One. We got Cap One. So sometimes I feel like what's the word I'm looking for? His ability to be upset can be soothed by dollar bills and commas. Because it's funny how he opposed everything that they tried to bring here, but everything's gone through. He hasn't stopped the dang thing. He's not the chick from Virginia. What's her name? Louise Lucas, who stopped every vote on the Senate floor or on the floor for that stadium that was supposed to go into Arlington, and she wouldn't even let them get close to getting that put it through. Nobody's doing that. But I think the good thing is we got smart owners involved. I mean, if you've gone to Ashburn, even just to experience the practices, and Jack, I think we got to do that one Saturday, is ride out to Ashburn for one of those training camp things. I know you down for a road trip. And we just sit there and watch it, because I think they've changed that experience alone.
Man.
They had food trucks out there. I think they had stuff for people. They got seating for people. I think the group we're dealing with now has enough foresight, and they're fans. And they're not, oh, my daddy was a fan, I'm a fan. These are guys that legit put sweat and tears in, walk down those streets to get to the games. And I think they know what they want from that experience. I mean, even just look at what they've done to the park itself. Like, one thing they've showed us is they're not scared to invest money into this product, because they've done it from changing the training facility, to changing stuff that's wrong with inside of FedEx or Northwest or West South or whatever stadium is called. So I think they're gonna have a good stadium experience. I think we just need to not panic. I think tailgating will be different. So you may not get your same old tailgates, but the one thing we talked about the other day with sports fans is we build an experience. You get a couple guys together, then you say, "Oh, hey, let's meet up by Cubano's food truck," and then you sit right there at Cubano's maybe and eat whatever Cuban food there is that day. That's your pregame. You still talk your trash. I mean, you're still gonna have an experience. It's just gonna be new and unique, and you gotta be ready for the new and unique.
Yeah, but there's a lot of folks out there like me,
Stuck in their ways,
that like that old school stuff, that like their if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of shit. So
yeah. But the problem is, that's the problem. I said in the beginning of this is everybody's came out and said, "Do what they." Here's the words I heard: "Do whatever it takes to get to RFK. I don't care what you do, just give me RFK."
Yeah.
Now you have a chance to get RFK, and it's like no tailgating. Ooh.
All right. Well, Rob came back to your last comment. I feel that every empty lot should now be sold as commercial, like Baltimore, and have food trucks rent to supply for the demand, and gated with spots as paid parking, but in the neighborhood won't have it. They might not have a choice, but can retire with that real estate, no doubt.
I mean, Rob is. I mean, this is a good answer to this. I think that's
Rob's
exactly
been a lifelong Skins fan, season ticket holder. He's bowdy when it comes to Washington football.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what they're going to try to do. They gotta. I mean, the sad thing is you're not going to get your traditional, tailgate Ted with the big spread, serving food to hundreds of people. You're going to have vendors now selling food, and that's what you guys just get up with. Make the adjustment, do something that you trunk of your car for a little bit, and then go get some food, and then go into the building.
But
I just think people gotta be open, and I think the bad part about this, and this is no offense to any of us, but we're all older, and I think the younger guys or the younger people that never experienced old RFK won't have enough. Like, if you're 40 and under, what do you compare RFK to? You're not comparing it to anything, because you never. I mean, last time you were there was in 6. So I think the older majority is going to be the more vocal, but I think the younger is going to be okay with it because they'll just adapt because they never had that first experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, to backstep a little bit to the vendor trucks or the food trucks you were talking about, them cats are going to make life-changing money in 5 months. They're going to make 2-3 years salary in 5 months if they do it. They got to make some kind of way to have these, because vendors are going to be fighting for this space if that's the way they go. So that's a whole different thing that's got to be dealt with too, because you can't just have different vendors every week. It's got to be a set thing, so there's not fussing and gun shooting over food truck places.
I think you're going to have a situation where they're going to have delegated vendors for each space. I think you're going to have to, and this is part of the part where it comes to making some of your money back. You're going to build it so they got to rent a space from you, and then that way you get paid off of them being in your space, but you also provide a service for your people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a businessman is going to do, and that's why I like this group so much. Is because I think they see it from both sides.
Yeah. Well, they're going to charge them trucks up to wazoo, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's why that's going to be a premium ticket.
No doubt. to come to a football game with 70,000. I think that's what they're proposing that stadium at. It's about 70,000.
I thought they were at 55 to 65 because you guys start putting
All
in
right,
the
I
fact
might
that
be confused with the new stadium they're building in Vegas. That might be the 70. No, they ain't building no baseball stadium, 70,000. All right, I've been hearing some stadium numbers, so but you got to figure it's going to be many thousand, and in the tailgate areas and stuff, there's probably going to be many thousand that aren't even going to the game that are going to come in and enjoy the food truck thing, unless you're getting tickets at the gates to get in. You know, they put gates around the parking lot. You're going to have a lot of people there that aren't even going to the game. So the
I
food
know
truck
the
guys.
I know the
Go ahead.
defenders have like an area dedicated for the trucks. It's kind of like the bullpen. If you've ever been to the bullpen at Nats Park, they have a similar setup right in front of the Audi Arena. And this is secondhand. So if you've been there and you've seen it firsthand, jump in. But I think that's what we gotta start thinking about. It's like
what's Audi Arena? The new soccer joint they built down there by the baseball stadium?
It's Audi Field. I'm sorry.
I've been in there. It's nice. I wasn't in there for no football or any else, but I was in there for soccer. It's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
And
they have a very good experience. You know, they built up something. The beer snake. You know, when certain calls get made, the crowd goes crazy. Like they've built an ambiance for the defenders in just like 2 or 3 years. So that's the same thing that's going to have to happen here. Is you want to build up an experience that for Commanders fans, if they still call it the Commanders in that time frame, who knows? There may be a campaign, new home, new name. You never know.
I'm not up for new name game again. I mean, as much as I dislike Commanders, I'm not up for the new name game. Unless it's going back to what it was, and I'm almost 99.9%. It will never go back to Redskins. People still got hope. You see it all over the chat lines on social media. People still got hope that the name Redskins is coming back, but I'm 99.9% sure that's not coming back, man. There was too much crap with it. Both sides, people that wanted it, people that didn't want it. And I think half the people that said they didn't want it were just saying they didn't want it for the hell of it. It ain't doing nothing to them. So I don't even want to get back into a name game, shorty.
Oh no, you good. You good with me on that. I was just saying that could be a possible thing for them.
Let me hit Rob, man. He answered you. He answered you. He says, you are correct. Youngins won't have no idea how it was. They're recreating something that will never, ever be the same as when we grew up.
Hell no.
And that's how they're doing everything now that they're recreating, Rob. You know, God bless RFK. I spent many days in that stadium, and it was run down in my later times going there, and it did need to be a new stadium. But it's not, this is going to be state of the art, bro. This here is going to bells and whistles. You're going to be able to go to an ice cream shop. You're going to be able to go to a cookie store. You're going to be able to buy some draws. There's going to be shops everywhere. You can go visit Mookie over there in apartment B. You can go see Crystal and 3G. It's going to be a, world around this stadium is what I think.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a world built around it. And that's where them paying 2.5 out of the 3 billion makes me question how much control and how much they get from the building out of this land.
Yeah.
So it looks like Rob got a couple other things.
Yeah, he was talking about the defenders. The defenders, the DC team. They play actually this Sunday, isn't it? Easter Sunday.
Yep, at 5 p.m.
That's a little weird, but they play at that field too. Season tickets are like $280. Washington football teams, not sure where you're going with that. And I know what Wolf tickets means, but who's selling them, Rob?
Them people that didn't like the name. I mean, think about it, dog. The dude, what's his name? It used to make me so mad. Mike Wise used to get his check from a show called Redskins Report, but used to not want to say the name Redskins.
I did.
How you living like that?
I used to not want to say Commanders, but it's being in a sports show and everything. I've decided, as much as I dislike it, I say it here and there. So I remember you used to count how many times I said Commanders about a year ago.
Yeah, I gave up on that now. I'm good.
It's there, it's
Right.
there. I got to be that guy. I don't like saying it. I rarely say it, but Washington Commanders, man, I'd like to see them play at the old RFK site, and I'd like to see that badly. Because when we went I was at uh, FedEx when it first opened. I'm almost positive the first game was Monday night against San Fran, first home game.
No,
And
it was a Saturday 1:00 start against the Arizona Cardinals, and they won it in overtime with a touchdown on Michael Westbrook. And the only reason I know this, and it's weighs in my head, is because that was the first game I'd missed in 10 years because my college roommate decided to get married that day.
oh Lord, well, it was an early game where they caught a Monday night gig with the
Yeah, they
49ers.
did. They did.
And I was there, and it was just electric, man. But I was walking through the concourse, and I'm just like, wow, because RFK's concourse was so much more narrow, and you actually have room to walk,
Yes.
versus RFK, man, you was scooting, and it was
Yeah.
it was a pain to get to concessions and stuff. But and mega bathrooms at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. The bathrooms were everywhere. I don't think I stood in line for a bathroom the first couple years there. It was just amazing because that's the thing that happened at RFK, man. Them damn lines to the bathroom would wrap around the stadium damn near.
Yeah.
And by the time you go in and drop jank, you done missed a whole quarter of football. So I think they did good things in that. And I think they're going to do even better things if they build on the RFK site and make a modern stadium. These new nowadays stadiums are amazing. I do like them.
Yeah, and then the other key after that is just, like I said, we're talking 5 years away from now. I mean, the changes, the way the world is, I think the experience that they'll have at that point, they'll know the product they want to put in front of Commanders fans, Redskins fans, and I also think that some more success will bring some more people back. I think that'll get people back and start forgetting the name. I'm just sorry. The name is the name. It is what it is. There's no great names. Like I sat there one day after the name was announced, and I'm like, all right, Seahawks. What's special about that? It's just been called the Seahawks for so long. You ain't bucking the system. The Milwaukee Bucks. That's not a great name. But you've been saying it for so long. They won titles behind it. I think winning cures it all.
True.
And I love the way that this team, the one thing they did, and I think this is one of the things that kicked back to what you saw earlier, is the ownership came in and just embraced the name. They made it part of their identity. And now you can't say anything without saying Commander's Way, Commander's Pride, or whatever they say. And I think that's the kicker, is they've invested so heavily in the name and just the way we do things. You talk about the draft coming up, and they talk about players being a Commander's player, getting a Commander sticker. That's all just becoming part of I'm not going to use that word. I'll use my favorite word. It's part of their lexicon. It's part of their nomenclature. It's part of how they structure this thing.
Definitely. No, we're definitely bringing in a different set of players and different skill sets. And like you said, a type. And that's what Washington did in the 80s, man. They brought in them guys that bring their lunch pail to work.
Mm-hmm.
Them teams were hard working, blue collar teams, and it was a type then that Joe Gibbs brought in and the late, great Jack Kent Cooke. So I definitely think that this new ownership group and the folks they got running this program are going in the right direction. I can't wait for football. I mean, after so many years of losing and then to have a tremendous season last year, make it to the NFC Championship game, play 20 games. When's the last time we played 20 games? So
91.
So, I'm just, like I say, I got that PTSD on me that worries about the whole RG3 thing, the way that went down. I thought we was rolling then. I felt the same as I do this year. But I think this team is built different. And we got a different coach, a better coach.
This year, though, they will find out a lot about themselves real quick because this schedule is nothing to play with.
Mm-mm.
And if you're used to 1 o'clocks, some of you can go back to church because if your church lets out at 1, you ain't got to worry about a game till 4:25 or sometimes 8 o'clock because they're going to be in a lot of prime time and a lot of standalones, especially with this kid. And the one thing they probably want them to do is come out early, start strong, because this team starts out 1-0, 2-0, and has some life in it. You're gonna get maybe the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Maybe you get the first game opening night in Philly. Maybe you get Kansas City on a Sunday night opening weekend. I mean, you got like 2 of the best divisions that we play. You got your own division in the NFC East. Then you have the NFC North. And then you play the whole North, and you play the whole AFC West. That's just loaded with primetime games.
Yes, sir.
And quality teams and quality quarterbacks. So, getting this draft right is going to be key. And hopefully nailing these free agents it's going to be key to this team making a move. Because you're not going to it ain't going to be cupcake lane.
No. We got tape out, JD5's got tape out now, so he's got to work on that. The Kingsbury's got to work on that. Let's disguise some of this stuff. There's a whole lot of work to be done in preparations for a season to follow last season. You can't just come out and do the same shit. This is NFL. They're going to eat you up. So it's really key, and I'm happy to have an OC like Kingsbury because I know what he does, and he's gonna do that. And now he's got Debo. There's several other packages can be worked in with that. Him and Eckler, they can do a lot of those jet sweeps. It's gonna be fun, and we're gonna see a different team. Strategically, not a different ball team. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Hip Rob's coming after Wolf tickets because I like this. But I think he's missing the point here on this one. So that's what PG tried to do with FedEx, and now they're going to lose it because you've been around that way. Everything is leading that way with the Metro and everything, and now they're going to lose it. But the problem with PG, the way they did it, was everything was still a mile, 2 miles away. So it wasn't that experience of it being all on one campus. And the one thing you got to recognize and you want to pay attention to is the architect of Amazon Headquarter 2 in Virginia is the person that the Commanders have brought in to kind of get behind the designs of this place that we're building here in hopefully at RFK. It might still end up at Maryland because RFK doesn't come through, but if you can make it work, yeah. So the whoever the architect of H2 in Virginia has been hired by the Commanders. So he's going to be able to build that experience and put it into a campus setup. So you're not walking 1 and 2 miles or 3 miles like fans have to do now. I think they're going to center everything, and with the infrastructure, they're going to build it. So some of the you already have the Stadium Armory site.
Is the Armory got a metro that comes directly to it?
Yeah, the Stadium Armory has a metro. That's how people used to go back in the day.
And how far away is that from the stadium site? A walk? A good walk?
Yeah, it's like a short walk. Nobody ever complained about that walk.
I never took it there. I take it down to what's it called now? What's Wizards Arena called now? Cap One. Yeah, I take it there because honestly, you get off the train, you go up steps, you are at the arena. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Park in New Carrollton and boom. And then get home. I'm back on the show in no time. So yeah, taking Metro to events is a damn good idea, especially if you don't plan on tailgating, even though we don't know the tailgate rules yet. But if you're just planning on going to the game, catch that Metro, man. There's no sense in bringing more cars and fighting that parking, regardless how much they give us.
Well, I don't like Metro, so I'm on the other side of this. But
I don't
We'll say
catch it
that for another
often.
show. We'll say that for another show and another time.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you can think of on this?
Nah, we covered pretty good, and I like that our viewers chimed in a lot. And Rob Randall, OG Redskin fan, straight up gangster. I'm glad he tuned in today while we were talking new stadium, man. Because like I say, he's been there at the new stadium since it came up. He's had season tickets for years, and I can believe many years. So I'm glad that he chimed in on this. He might, and Rob is also. We gotta get him in the passenger seat too. He's also a big supporter and contributor to Maryland Special Olympics as well. He is the one of the co-captains of Mr. Peanuts Frozen Chosen. Him and Mr. Ricky Mulligan run that. So little shout out to that. Mr. Peanuts Frozen Chosen fundraising team is amazing. And thanks, Rob. We will get you in the passenger seat soon, partner.
No, that's I think that's good. I think we need to go to how we normally end this. I don't see the there it is.
Oh, my bad.
No, you good.
What you want? Which one you want? Wrap that shit up?
Yes, sir. You might have to click Rob. There you go. So segment is just anything that we think we forgot to cover. Anything that came up during the show that is a headline that people need to know. Do you got? I'm sorry, Miss Purcell. I know who my English teacher was. Do you have any other thoughts or anything else you wanted to touch on before we get out of here?
No, not really. I mean, I ain't got nothing to do tonight. No basketball on, man. Shoot.
Got a bunch of baseball.
I'm gonna watch a little.
Baseball
I'm gonna watch some late baseball.
Who's late?
Dodgers play tonight.
Dodgers and the Rockies, maybe.
I like watching the Dodgers.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I ain't got nothing for you. Got nothing for you, man.
No, I'm good too. I don't have anything else. We got another high scoring game. Looks like Seattle 11, Cincinnati 7, and that's a final in 10 or 11.
There was a bunch yesterday too. These double digit scoring. I don't know, man. I don't think the batting is that far down. Jeez, I'm putting up dimes every day, every week. I mean, every day there's a couple dimes on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but that might be because a lot of the pitching has been hurt early.
Yeah, and I remember Keith brought that up the other day, and it is true. The ERAs are just boom.
And then we're still dealing with cold weather, and that goes for both hitters and pitchers because the pitcher can't really grip that ball that good. And I'm surprised they don't let them use any kind of a sticky substance just in the cold cities to get started. Like, give it some tact, control the baseball better, so we don't get the young getting hit in the face. We don't get the ball going over top of McCutcheon's head. Like, we can save some of that stuff. We can keep some of that stuff from happening unless they do it intentionally.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And that also gives you the idea of knowing the intent. Because if they got the sticky stuff and they use it and they still throw something high at somebody's head, that's intent. But that's neither here nor there. Sagano for Baltimore went 7 innings, 2 earned runs versus Cleveland. And your boy O'Hearn hit a 3-run homer.
Mountcastle today, damn it.
If O'Hearn plays, I don't think Mountcastle's in the lineup unless he's the DH.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. They were running Mountcastle last night. I don't know who I ended up with.
So yeah, double check that.
Yeah.
If you got a chance to get some late night bets, get some late night bets in. I think tomorrow you might have some KBO. So if you're trying to bet some Korean baseball,
tomorrow you got some hoops.
The game started at 5:45. Hoops. We got We got the last of the playing games to settle. Was it the 8 seeds for both sides of the league?
Right. You got the Heat and the Hawks, and who we got? The Heat and the Hawks, and the Mavericks and the Grizzlies.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Heat Hawks 7, Mavericks Grizzlies 9:30.
I think the Heat take the Hawks because I think the Hawks ready for Cancun. Well, they looked real ready for it last night.
Oh, I don't know which one you said, but I just said oh.
It could be Puerto Rico.
It was the wrong one. Anyway, the Mavericks, man, they killed me last night, man. I had 3 down, needed 1 more, hit a nice lick, and damn, the Mavericks ain't win that game last night. I thought Sacramento was going to get that one. I really did. I thought Levine and that other boy from Chicago was going to light it up. They did. But Dallas just got shit from everywhere last night.
Yeah.
So I don't feel them as a threat, though.
No, they're not. I think either one of those teams are teams that are going to be sacrificial lambs. And you know what? We'll make this our new sign out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this Thursday night throwdown. For the gentleman Jack, for the Midnight Rider, and as J Dub always says, always good, fellas. We are out of here.